Hello, my strange and charmed ones. Welcome back to my channel for another installment of my Plan Like an Entrepreneur series. So as you can see from the title of today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my best tips for working through situations where you are feeling completely overwhelmed and paralyzed by indecision and just feeling like there's so much to do, but you don't know where to begin. This is an issue that's actually just affected me, not for the first time, but this past week. I actually came into this situation where I basically hit a wall with myself and with my own work. For the last few weeks, I had been pretty much working these like insane hours trying to get all the work done that I needed to get done because I was launching my second workbook for my empire building program. And so by the time Easter rolled around, I was really exhausted. And so basically when I started out the beginning of this week, like after Easter, after the second workbook had been published on my site, I basically had a lot of steam that was still built up. So I found that on Monday and Tuesday, I was still trying to fit a ton of stuff in. I was still trying to check so much off of my to-do list because I had kind of been in this mode of working like way too long and working way too much and trying to accomplish way too much, which I think is fine. Everyone goes through periods of time where they need to, do a lot of work in a short period of time. And that's definitely something that's not unusual. Everyone goes through that. And it's not something that I would say don't do that, because certainly within our lives, there's periods of time where we really need to step up and really be present and really be getting a lot of things done. But what I made the mistake of doing was, instead of once my kind of hectic time was over, I didn't take a step back and say, okay, now I need to rest. Now I need to balance it out by, spending some time just chilling out. But of course, I didn't do that. So by Wednesday of this week, you guys may have noticed I didn't put up a video because I woke up literally bright and early Wednesday morning and immediately fell back to sleep because I felt like a train had hit me. I felt like I had physically been injured, there was so much exertion that my body had been through for the past, few weeks getting all of my work done that it literally exhausted me as though I had just gotten back from running a marathon. So basically, I was wiped. There was nothing I could do. I could barely get out of bed. It was actually really pathetic and a little bit scary because, when you've been working for so long and you're working hard for so long and I had plenty of things on my to-do list for last week that didn't get done, right? Because I got hit by this freight train, time caught up with me and I was trying to do too much in such a short period of time that basically I got wiped out. So today I really want to talk to you guys about strategies that you can implement, the same strategies that I ended up implementing last week, because not only was I feeling exhausted on Wednesday, but I stayed the entire day in bed. And then Thursday and Friday, even though my body felt back to normal, my head was completely foggy. And all I knew was that there was so much I needed to do, but for some reason I couldn't focus. I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to be doing, what needed to be done, what was necessary. So I really had to kind of go into my roots and really take some time and think about how I was going to work out of this funk. So today I want to share with you guys those tips for basically getting focused and working through overwhelm, because I know many of you obviously are going to be in situations where you face this as well. Some people more regularly than others, but if this is a situation you find yourself in, this is the video for you. Okay, so how did I get out of that funk? I have 3 really solid tips for helping you guys. It's what I used to basically very gradually get myself out of that funk, and hopefully this will be helpful for you as well. The first thing that I did was I picked my top 3. So a lot of times within the planner community, a lot of people, you may hear a lot of people talk about this. A lot of planners are geared towards this idea that, you've got your to-do list, but there's these top 3 things, right, that absolutely have to get done in the day. So the first thing that you need to do if you're feeling overwhelmed is just be honest with yourself and say, What are the 3 things that need to get done today that absolutely do? Even if you have a to-do list that is out the wazoo, there are 3 things on that list that are the most pertinent, absolutely. There may be more than 3, but you have to use your best judgment and figure out those 3 important tasks that need to be done no matter what in the day. Okay, so the next thing you need to do after you have your top 3 to-do list basically for the day is you have to look at your list again, and you need to cross off items that are just not going to be done. You need to cut back on what you're actually doing and really be honest with yourself about what can wait, so that you feel that sense of relief that, you know what, these are things that I do need to get done, but they don't absolutely have to be done today. So make sure you cross those off your list or move them onto a separate list for, like, you know, to look at tomorrow if you're feeling better the next day. But as of today, if you know that there's 3 things that you definitely need to get done, there's definitely a whole bunch of other things as well on your list that can be cut off for today. They're things that are just not within the realm of possibility that you're going to get done today, and you need to be honest, and you need to quickly identify those and literally check them off your list, because you're not going to be doing them today. Now, for me, this meant that last week I didn't have a video out on Wednesday. It also meant that for a majority of the week, I actually didn't even publish anything to Instagram. I didn't post any pictures to Instagram, which is so rare for me because normally I'm someone who loves to post every day. And I know even when I was super duper busy with my project for the last few weeks, I still posted, I think, like at least every other day. But I literally went the majority of the week not posting to Instagram because I basically had to be real with myself and say, you know, Instagram is not the priority today. It's not going to be the priority. And I also had to make that tough decision and say, you know what, a video is not going to happen this week. It's just not going to happen. It was not going to be in the cards. There was no way I had the mental and physical energy to prepare to do a video, because you guys may not realize it, but videos do take a lot out of you. You know, I have to set up my whole desk area. I have to set up lights. I have to make sure that my hair and makeup are done. I need to make sure that I'm dressed appropriately. And let's be honest, I was not getting out of my pajamas this week. So a YouTube video, too much effort. It was getting cut off the docket for this week. And you know, that was a great decision for me. You may think, how is cutting something off your list a good decision? But literally, when it's something that is in and of itself a task that's so overwhelming that just the thought of having to do it makes you like cringe, and it's not something that absolutely has to be done, cut that bad boy off your list. You can just like let that go. Let that anchor fall to the wayside so you can just keep floating along. So that is what I did. Now, the third tip that I will say was very helpful for me as well was once I had that top 3 list of what I needed to do, and then I had knocked off a bunch of other items from my to-do list that didn't need to be done. Obviously, I had those top 3 things that I needed to get done, as well as a list of some other items as well. So then what I had to do was prioritize each item, literally assign a value like 1, 2, 3 to those top 3 items based on 2 factors. I prioritize based on time, like when they're due, like how soon they're due, and also how long they take to get done, as well as the need. How urgent is this to my life that I get it done right now? So what is the most important thing that has to be done first, and what can be done second, and then what can be done third? Now, what ends up happening once I have that top 3 list and once I've prioritized them is basically that I was able to actually pretty quickly knock a few items off my to-do list. I was able to get those 3 big things done because I basically gave my permission to ignore everything else. And so I think that a lot of this is kind of like, I don't know, maybe like subconscious, that when we realize that we don't have as much to do as we thought, it's easier to jump into those 3 things even when we're feeling overwhelmed. But definitely, you know, make sure you're prioritizing those top 3 things, because what ends up happening is once those 3 things were done, I actually sat down and looked at my to-do list and said, okay, I think I can tackle another item. So what I did was I just quickly looked down my list and said, okay, what's the next item that's the most important, that has the next important priority? And then I got that done. So really what ended up happening was I didn't knock off every item on my to-do list, but I got the major things done. And the fact that I got those major items done meant that I kind of felt a sense of accomplishment, so that I actually had more energy then at that moment. It was like a subconscious thing, but I had more energy to devote to other tasks that were on my list that didn't make the top 3. So that was literally how I survived this week, where I was literally completely overwhelmed, mostly because I was just physically exhausted. And you know, if you've ever been physically exhausted, everything seems like it's going to be the hardest thing in the world to accomplish. And that's exactly how I felt. I had so much mental fog. I just had so much anxiety. But literally, just to survive the week, I had to get down to basics and follow those 3 tips so I could identify my most important items and quickly write off any items I knew were not going to need to get done, and then focus in on that list and prioritize what needed to be done 1, 2, 3, and then ultimately, like I said, I was able to add in a few other items as well that were also important but maybe didn't make the top 3. So that is how I survived this week of overwhelm, and those are my tips if you are having an overwhelming week, or maybe you're someone who just always feels like it's hard to prioritize, and you always, maybe it's a common occurrence for you that you are sitting down at your desk and you're getting work done and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Because within our lives, there's a lot of different stressors and things that can kind of add to that feeling of overwhelm. But those 3 tips should definitely help get you started on getting some things done that are important for your week so that you're achieving what you need to, the bare minimum of what you need to do, which is actually a very liberating and freeing thought, you know, when you think, I just need to get done the things that I need to get done. So those are my tips to you. I hope that they helped. If you enjoyed this video or had any comments or have any additional tips to help people work through overwhelm, let's hear them. Put them down in the comments, because this is a really big topic, and I think it's a topic that I'm probably going to need to touch on a little bit more in the future, because, you know, everyone has these moments of overwhelm, and there's lots of different strategies that you can do to get through them. You know, a lot of people ask me all the time, you know, I get so many emails where people actually point blank ask me, they say, Alexis, you're a productivity guru, but I want to know, do you ever reach points where you hit a wall and you can't get things done? And the answer is yes. You know, I'm a productivity guru because I consider myself a student of productivity, right? It's something that I actively search for knowledge and information on, and then I in turn go ahead and give that information to my community, you guys who I know will also benefit from it. But that doesn't mean that I am always 100% organized. Absolutely not. I'm definitely not 100% organized all of the time. It definitely is a struggle for me sometimes to get organized. You know, I go through, you know, moments where I feel like I've had strokes of genius and I just get so much done, and then I have periods of time where I feel overworked and I feel like stretched thin and I feel like, you know, I can't get anything done. So I definitely have those periods as well. I'm not Superwoman, so don't feel like you're alone if that's you. There's definitely nothing wrong with you. It's completely normal. So if you have any other tips, leave them down in the comments. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a like, because it's very important that you guys like my videos. If you like the content, it's a really great way so I know what videos you actually want me to focus on in the future. So make sure you take that moment to give this video a like if you did like it. Of course, since I really haven't spoken to you guys for like a week at this point, I'm just going to remind you guys that the second blueprint of my empire building series is out. It is on the topic of communication. So if you are looking to start a blog, start a YouTube channel, or learn the ins and outs of the important social media platforms, this is the blueprint for you. So you can either purchase the blueprint individually, or you can purchase one of my coaching paths as well. And you know what? I've talked about those enough, you guys. I will leave details down in the description for you guys to check it out. But I would definitely say if you're someone who wants to start an online business, or if you're someone who kind of wants to just dabble and see, you know, what you can do with social media and how you could maybe earn some extra income, or at least, you know, take up a new hobby, because heaven knows we have enough things in our days that we have to do, that it's wonderful when we have things in our days that we want to do. So if you're interested in any of those topics, definitely check out the links below, and I can't wait to see you guys in my empire building program. And last but not least, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, you guys, bye-bye.